Hey guys, this is Matt the Murph Dog Murphy, and we're going to talk about how to become a better race director for RC car racing. Um, I've been doing race directing and promoting for, I guess my first real race I promoted was 2007. So it's been my 20th year of promoting, directing races, running tracks and such. Um, so 20 years experience, and it wasn't always easy. I've learned a lot along the way. I've learned from a lot of great race directors. So when it comes to becoming a good race announcer, I got some tips and tricks for you guys that I'll go through in this video. There's also a lot of things that I really want to share with you guys to help become better race directors. So race directing and announcing, it kind of gets tossed into one category, but they are two very different skills. You have to get good at both of them if you want to have a great race program. So first things first, guys. When it comes to being a race director, in my opinion, the most important thing you can do, that you have to do, and you have to do well, is you have to set the tone of the event with a driver's meeting. Okay. During the driver's meeting, you can explain the race format, you can explain the rules, the procedures, exiting and entering the track, the driver stand, going through tech, your tech inspection, where that's going to be, what's expected of the drivers. And also, you got to emphasize what you're expecting of them, quarter marshal duty wise, and all that kind of stuff. It's super important that you let your racers know what's expected of them. Some tracks really just don't do that, and then they get mad when people aren't there to corner marshal. And you really just got to set the tone for the event. You got to let people know what's expected of them, and you need to communicate effectively at the start of the program. Let people know what's expected, what they need to do, how they need to be prepared, and then through all that, then your racers can then already know what the plan is, how they need to be prepared, what their duties are, etc. So, in my opinion, the number one most important thing about being a race director is you have to keep things on schedule. There's some racetracks around the country that get 30 entries and it takes 7 hours to run two heats in the main, and that's just unacceptable. You can't ask people for, honestly, in my opinion, more than 3.5 to 4 hours for a club race, as far as from the start of the race to the end. I know at my track last night we had 72 entries running two heats, mains with bump ups. We started at 7 and we were done at like 10:15. So if you can't run through your race program two heats in the main with 70 entries in less than 3.5 hours, you kind of got to look at your program, see how you can condense things, see how you might be failing as a race director to keep things rolling. So along the lines of the race director duties, you got to make sure that you communicate effectively at the driver's meeting and then during the rest of the event. And so, as a race announcer, you're focusing on the race and all the stuff you're doing while you're announcing the race. But you have to have the race director hat on in the background. You got to let guys know, hey guys, this is race number 3. Race number 4 should have them ready to go. Race 5 should be in tech. Race number 6 should be heading that way. 7 should be thinking about it. Communicate that kind of stuff. And not only when you do that, it not only tells the guys, hey, I got to get my stuff together, get through tech ahead of time, but it also reminds the guys in the pits, like, I wonder what race they're on. And as long as you, once every race, come out and say, hey guys, this is race 6 or race 7 or whatever the race may be, you're communicating with that. So that's really, really important for effectively managing the race program. Some tracks have a whole bunch of live RC screens around where they have like live timing and such. That makes it really easy for guys to know what's going on. But I still believe that the race director doing a great job as a race director, communicating what heats are up and what's going on is very imperative, especially if you want to keep things rolling. I like to tell guys, when there's 30 seconds left of the race before yours, have your car turned on, set down in the way to the staging area, and you get ready to climb up the driver's stand. And as soon as that race before you is off the driver's stand, got their car, so you can start slowly checking in your transponders, keep things rolling. Just you got to be on it. If you as a race director are allowing delays, you're failing your race program. So you got to find that balance between absolutely pushing your racers too fast and feeling rushed, but you also want to get them in and out in a reasonable amount of time, and you want them to feel like they're not just sitting there waiting around forever. So one of the biggest complaints I hear about guys is, man, I just can't believe how long this race program takes. It's just not worth my time. And so that's something we got to look into and got to work on as a whole in the RC community. So next thing I want to get into stuff about how to be a better race announcer. And it's not easy. It doesn't come naturally for everybody, but it's okay. You don't have to be a born announcer with raw talent to just get on the microphone and do a good job. So I'm going to talk about a few little things here that I think that everybody that grabs a microphone should focus on. So most of us watch full-scale racing on TV of some sort. It is way easier to be a race announcer on a full-size, say like NASCAR type racing program. Even on a short track, we were running 12, 13, 18 second lap times versus RC where we run 2.5 to 5 second lap times. It's way easier to describe a car going down the back straightaway, looking high, going into turn 3. He might diamond it. Oh, he crosses over. He's coming low out of 4, trying to make a pass. It's so easy to describe the action well with an 18-second lap. In RC racing, sometimes we have 2.5, 2.8, 3.5, 4-second lap times. How to effectively announce that and call the action, it's a lot different, okay? So you got to you just got to start flowing with the information. You got to react without really thinking. You got to tell everybody what you see. I like to call the traffic. Leaders going down the front straight in the 1 and 2 onto the back. He's going to look wide. Oh, he looked to the inside, nothing doing. Just got to keep that stuff flowing. But you cannot, as an RC race director, you cannot only call the action on the track. If you do so, you're failing everybody that's on the racetrack that is not in that lead battle. So as RC race director and announcer, you also need to call traffic. Hey guys, we got to pile up in 3, go high into 3, go high into 3, go high into 3. And once it's clear, we're clear, okay? So you're trying to call the race action. You're trying to call wrecks, trying to call traffic and such. And then you also, the racers on the driver's stand want their data. So this is where I tell guys, if you want to be a mid-level RC race director announcer, here's a few key things I want you to focus on. Give racers lap times. Run through the field. Oh, so-and-so. John just ran a 6.2. Marcus just ran a 5.8. Stephanie's on a 7.4, whatever. And just run down once or twice throughout the race. Give lap times. Don't just give the top 2. Give everybody's lap times. Chris just ran fast lap of the race with a 5.731. Boom. Throw that data out there. Jacob's fast lap is a 5.84. Just run through that data. So on the live RC screen, all that data is there. You just need to learn how to read it. Also, while you're on there, you could also talk about margins. So the margin between, or the interval between first and second is 0.8 seconds. And then you can announce that. John's running the 2 spot, trying to close into Jacob. Oh, he's reeling him in. Now it's only 0.7 of a second. All that data that I'm giving during the race is on the screen in front of me. So what you have to do is learn where these important features are on the live RC screen, and you need to learn how to utilize them and basically tell the story of the action on the track, give the data, and then keep it flowing. One of the hardest things for guys that aren't comfortable with announcing races is they don't know what to say or when to say it. My tip to you guys, it doesn't matter as much what you say, just keep on talking. You need to keep talking the whole race. Throw out a stat, throw out another stat, throw out some data, call the race. Now, an effective race director does 4 things, in my opinion. 1, You call the race for the racers on the track. Okay, you're calling traffic, you're calling races, you're calling lap times, you're doing the best you can to give the racers on the driver's stand, the drivers on the track, the best race directing you can, the best announcing, give them all the data and the details they need. Two, you need to give all the data to the guys in the pits. Hey guys, this is race 3, race 4, whatever race it is. You got to inform people, hey, we're going to have a break at halfway through the round, or we're going to do this, track prep's going to be this time. You got to communicate to all the guys not on the racetrack. So you got the guys on the track, you got the guys in the pits you need to communicate to. 3, you want to communicate to the racers watching the race. You want to tell the people watching, hey, this is the battle for the lead down the back straightaway. You're describing where it's at. Okay, battle's here. This car. John and Dave are battling for the lead or whatever. But the one where a lot of people fail is what I call number 4. The most important part about growing our sport as a race director, you have to describe what you're seeing on the racetrack, the action on the track, for the people that are in attendance and are spectating that don't know who and what is going on. So this is where it's important to say, hey, we got Bob out front in the yellow number 7 car. We got Steve running second in the blue number 2. We got Jerry third in the orange 21 car. And you describe the numbers, the colors, and where they're at on the racetrack relative to each other. That will give the spectators a little bit of information about who's where. Because someone that's never been to your track, has never seen RC racing before, doesn't know Bob, Steve, Dick, or Wayne. They don't know any of those guys. So you need to basically describe what's going on to those guys so they can understand. One thing that I personally believe in that some guys don't quite agree with, as a race director, I don't like making a small moment into a big one. If the excitement level on the track is a 3.5, I'm not going to turn it into an 8 out of 10. Okay? If the moment on the track is a 6, I'm not going to turn it into a 10. But be ready. I believe that if you overdo it constantly, everybody feels like you have fake enthusiasm, and then the enthusiastic, exciting moments are less exciting. So I like to keep it real. I like to keep a 3 moment a 3, a 6 a 6. And when you get those exciting battles and they get close, that's where I feel like I get really into it. I'll bring that 8.5, 9.5 excitement level, and I'll bring it with the race. But some guys like to be on the chip the whole time. I just don't feel like that's beneficial. But it works for some guys. Some guys are really good at that, and so be it. Me personally, I want the enthusiasm level of the announcer to match the excitement of the situation and the battle. So, as far as race directing and getting comfortable doing it, you have to learn the computer system. Lifetime is a pretty simple program to learn once you figure out what all the buttons are, how everything's termed. I'm fortunate that when Lifetime was just getting going, I was race director at my dirt oval track back in California, Hot Rod Hobbies Dirt Oval. And so when that was a brand new scoring system, we'd have like an update every single week, and there'd be like, this button would be moved to this part of the screen in this folder, and everything got renamed and moved constantly. So I had to like intuitively learn on the fly what was changing. Now it's a well-oiled machine. They don't change all that much anymore. They do a great job of it. But I was working on the Lifetime stuff when they were getting going, and I don't think there's a better way to do it. Lifetime's the best RC scoring system out there, in my opinion. And to me, it's like I use it 2 to 5 times a week, so it's very easy, intuitive for me to work with and go through it. So key focal points, guys, I want you to focus on. 1, keep talking. 2, learn your racers, learn their cars, their color schemes, their numbers. Even if they're hard to read, walk around the pits, kind of learn about them. 3, try to give a mixture of screen data and on-track information. And 4, reiterating 1, keep talking. Silence makes it feel like you don't care. Silence makes it feel like the race director doesn't know what they're doing. Even if you're just talking, even if you're reading stats off of the computer right down the list, it's better than silence. Just keep those guys informed, keep the racers informed, keep the spectators informed, and keep everything going. Race directing is kind of like public speaking, where you have a microphone, you're amplified. So a lot of guys are really nervous about it. I'm blessed where I love attention. I love standing in front of people talking. I've never struggled with that in my life. So I'm different than a lot of guys. But if you are struggling with it, I would just remember this. Everybody there in the building enjoys what you're there to talk about. So it makes it a lot easier. Everybody there wants to see RC racing. Everybody there likes motorsports. So they have things in common with you. So it's not like you're talking to a bunch of you're not trying to explain biology to a bunch of random people who don't care. Everybody there is there for the same reason you're there. So it's a lot easier when you just relax and take a little stress off. If you have some quality race directors in your area, listen to what they have to say. Listen to how they do things. You can learn some things about your racers. Hey, this is Steve. He's from this city, this town. He made the trip up from here. He's here from there. This guy normally runs at this track, but he's coming in here to race our locals. Like, there's all kinds of little fun things you can add in to interject and create different excitement without just repeating the same things over and over. But the number one thing to remember, all the things that you have to talk about are right in front of you. It happens on the computer screen. It happens on the racetrack. All you have to do is interpret what you see and talk about it. It's literally like when people get nervous about going to do karaoke. Literally, the words are on the screen. There's nothing you have to do that it doesn't give you instructions for. With RC racing, it's the same thing. The racing's happening on the track right in front of you. The computer screen gives you all the data that you need. If you use those well, and you just keep on talking, and you'll find your voice, you'll find your projection, you'll find how loud you like to talk, how to do it. You're going to learn, you're going to do better. But man, I absolutely love race directing and announcing. It's something I've become good at. I wasn't naturally born with talent of doing it, but over the years, I've gotten better and better. And I like to hope that most of the guys that race the races that I race direct, I hope that I can add a little extra excitement to whatever experience they're having by my race directing. One thing I'll talk about real quick before we finish this up, guys. As a race director, personally, I do not call traffic. Okay, and when I say that, I will tell you who's where. I will say John is the leader of the yellow 3 car. He's coming up on the pink 6, which is Greg, to put him a lap down. He's not on the lead lap. He's not fighting for a lead lap. He's going 2 laps down. I'm never going to tell the car getting lapped to move. I will never tell them to move. I will give the drivers the information, who's leading, who's catching who, but I will never tell someone to move. And guys, it's controversial to some guys. My belief is this: if I tell Jim to move out of Bob's way, and then I see a crash in turn 3 when Steve is leading the next race, I don't call traffic for Steve, that's not fair. So the only way to be 100% fair is if I never call traffic in a way to tell somebody to pull over and give a position. Also, as a race director, I like to push driver etiquette, teach guys how to race with etiquette, proper racing technique. If you run somebody over, you pull over and you wait, you redress that spot, and then you go back out and battle. Also, though, I believe it's each racer's up to each racer to choose how you're going to race each other. You race this guy a certain way, he's going to learn, hey, this guy wants to race like this, I need to race him accordingly. Okay? If you got a guy out there who races you clean, gives you room all the time, that guy has earned your respect, and now you're going to race him with respect because of that. So it's just one of those things where, as you develop as a racer, how you race people matters, and then how they interpret your actions towards them changes the way they drive to race with you, basically. So I encourage guys to choose for themselves how they race, when they race, and it's not my decision as a race director to say, "Hey, pull over. You're out. You're not battling for the race. You better just pull over every time the leader gets there." So that's about all I got for this first race directing video. We might do another one if you guys have a bunch of questions and such. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments. I'll get back down there and answer those as quick as I can. But when it comes to race directing, guys, just get out there, do it, start talking, keep on talking, work on that data on the screen. It's not super difficult. It's one of those things, you gain confidence and you'll get good at it. I do enjoy public speaking, so it's a little easier for me, but I think you guys can all do it. Some of you guys I know fill in at your local tracks, and it's really beneficial when a track has several guys they can rely on for race directing, especially if you start doing a good job. So that's it, guys. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys next time.